first flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist.
Today I've decided to paint K.I.T.T. The reason for this is because I was sent a replacement by Playmobil as the sound for this part here. The unit was vibrating quite a lot, so I had it replaced by Playmobil. Very nice of them. So because I had this spare, I decided that I'd paint it, make it look a little bit more realistic, and maybe do some other upgrades like some lights. So the first thing I did was dismantle it. The plan is to let's start with each part as I go along. This will be sanded down, as with all the black bits, with very fine grit. Maybe sandpaper, just to take the shine off. Well, I say shine, but that's the whole point in me painting it, but to take the slight gloss off so it's ready for painting. This part I will mask this part here, so it will make the scanner even brighter, I guess. Just cover that up. Well, no, I'll also put channels here. These are where the headlights go, and also this is where the fog lights will be. So I'll put lights in here, 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 and also at the back for the rear lights. So I'm thinking about that. I'll just buy some maybe some cheap lights for that. The wheels, I do have a chrome Molotov marker. Then there's these are the lights at the front. I may diffuse these a little. It depends on how it looks, and I can just literally just buff them a little bit or file them, and that will diffuse them so the light will be evenly distributed as opposed to just a bright LED. This will be sanded down slightly, and that's where the diffused or not diffused plastic will go. I'm not going to do anything to this. This already has the light which through the piping sort of lights up. K.I.T.T speaking. I was thinking about maybe putting some lights behind the dashboard, but you wouldn't see them. I'd have to cut holes, and I'm not going to do that. Really unsure about what I'm going to do with the seats. I might just leave them. We'll see. The lights, I'll probably do this now in a moment. I'll cut out a square for the light. What I did use for a previous model, my Iron Man, to diffuse as glass, I used like an old CD cover. The sides of an old CD cover, I'm not sure if I have any left, have like those lines in them, and that will look good. In fact, hold on and I'll show you what I mean. Give me a second. Alright, so I'm back, and what I meant by the bit for this, if I just show you, this is a paper model which I used like chrome paper for, and I put a load of lights in, and if I can just move his hand, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to focus on that. There, okay, there, that's what I mean by the diffused light. And I used oh, you know what, I actually have a different model. I made a DeLorean out of paper, and I did actually make lights, proper lights, so that will work. Okay, I've come back just to show the actual lights. So this is what I meant by the CD side of a CD cover. And this is again another Pepakura paper model, which, oops, I added sort of part 2. So it started off as, oh, I've lost one of the vents, I need to fix that. Started off as just a normal complete paper model, but then I've added things like wires and stuff to it. I may do a video about this too, but I don't know since I've already made it. But I just wanted to show the lights at the front. So that's what it looks like with those diffused lights. Oops. Okay, so I'm actually quite happy with that. From the pictures as you saw, I first drilled a hole through the middle of it, then used a Dremel, a combination of a Dremel and a craft knife to cut it out into a square, which gave me this. Then I found an old CD cover, used a Dremel to cut this part out, and then the trick is here to just take off, where is it? Wrong one. Is to just take off a tiny bit at a time, check it, take another bit off, check it, take another bit off, check it. I mean, I could neaten that line up if I want to be really finicky, but I'm happy with that. It wasn't a perfect cutout anyway. So I'm gonna glue that into place, and that'll be the first headlight, ready for the lights to go in LEDs at the back, which I'll cut a hole somewhere there. Oops, depending on how they lift up, I need to remember how they work. But I also need to mask off the light for when I spray the top. Okay, so that's that for now. I'm going to do the second light and be back. Right, before I did the second light, I thought let's stick it in to see what it looked like, how ugly it is, but no, it's really nice. It looks quite good. Well, I'm making such a mess. I've got a glue gun out, I've got the rotary tool, I've got my drill. So yeah, it's taken, there's been a few revisions, but I've got the light. Bear in mind this isn't connected, and also the cable for the light here is a bit rigid, so I'm going to separate that. Also, I need to make sure that none of these short, which they do at the moment, just what I'm testing. Oops, as he says that. But I'll sort that out afterwards. But just a quick look at the lights. Okay, so I've got everything ready to spray. Got my spray can with me. I've got all the cables masked up, well, majority of it that you can see. I'm going to spray the inside of the lights at the back. Everything else, obviously the canopy, T-top, whatever you want to call it, the lights again. I didn't go over the lights though, but I buffed everything off just to smooth it off a little. And anyway, I'm going to spray it and get back to you. Alright, so we're all painted up. It's a bit windy up here, so I went to the other side where it was less windy because this spray was going in my face. But then there are bits of dust particles in the air, so I had to spray over the bonnet again. Looks okay, but I can see a little, I can see some bits, some particles of things that landed on it. So I may buff it down and spray it again. I'm not sure if I can be bothered or not. We'll see. Okay, so while I'm waiting for everything to dry, this is the hard bit because I'm so damn impatient. I have put the wheels back on in comparison to the original ones. You can see that they're smoother shape and obviously glossy. So yeah, just waiting for the rest. I removed the lights and sprayed on the inside, except for where I'm gonna put the other lights. I did the headlights, but I put them down too early, and you can see it's left some kind of marks on there. And that's that really. Just waiting for everything to dry. A quick update. I sprayed it all and then let it dry for a couple of days, and because it was so thick, I mean, it seemed dry to the touch, it was fine. I placed it, I think it was on my bed, and it sort of left an imprint and mottled the paint. Doesn't look, you can see a bit, fingerprint even. So it's still very wet. So, and that's because that's my own fault, it's so thick. So I tried to smooth it out a little because there were tape marks. You can see the tape marks here. I didn't think the tape was going to mark it so much, so I'm going to put yet another coat of clear on. Also, I taped up the box because all the dust, you can see that it left speckles. So we've got one side, if I can bend my arm, one side that's pretty shiny, even though it's got fingerprints all over it. I've got to wipe those off. And the other one where it's all speckled, where it was sort of, the dust was flying around the box from the top coat. And also the can was running out. So I'm going to do it again. One more coat of clear. Right, I'm absolutely gutted. The part that was looking the best is now by far looking the worst. I bought a new can of spray paint, the same one but from a different shop. It's only cheap paint, but I didn't test the spray and it all splattered out and put a load of blobs all over it. I tried to wipe it off with some alcohol, but that just made it worse. So then I've been like removing the paint, which I'm gonna say, this looks like it's never going to dry really. Maybe I put it on too thick, or it's because it's cheap paint, I don't know. But I'm trying to restore this, which is an absolute mess. But it all just kind of scrapes off. It was thicker on the other side. So I don't know. But I'm going to scrape all the paint off, and then I'm going to try and remove it from all the detail, and see if I can salvage this. It was really the best looking part too. The rest of the car is okay. I can't spray it with that paint though, because it will just ruin it. So yeah, let's see what I end up with. But oh, this is so gutting. Anyway, let's see if I can resolve it. Well, I'm going to need to somehow. Okay, so an update, which is about an hour and 10 minutes later. I've been able to remove almost all of the paint. Oops. Using nail file and a screwdriver. I'm because it was so thick, I guess. And then buffed and a Stanley blade. Okay, I've lost some detail, but did maintain a lot. I just need to get rid of some of the stuff in the grooves, but did maintain those, I don't know what you would call these anyway, these flaps, the detail here anyway in the bumper. Have lost some in regards to this line here in the middle, and this one here, and this one too. But on the whole, I managed to get, okay, there's some paint still in there a little. I managed to get most of it off, and considering what it looked like before, poof, I'm quite chuffed and happy with that. So I'll go to a different shop, well, the shop I got the other spray from, the clear top coat, and try again. But this time I'll test the spray before I go ahead and spray onto the straight away. Okay, so after repainting various times, the front bumper has come out okay. Not as good as it was the first time, but still alright. I'm pleased considering some dust there. Considering how it was, it's fine. Back bumper's fine. I redid the shell also because I had some tape stuck on the top and that made a bit of a mess, some dimples. The chassis, I will call this part the chassis, it's looking okay, a couple of spots there, just a couple. The other side pretty good. It's really hard to get things not to settle and dust to fall here where I am. It's there's lots of just dead bits in the air basically. The canopy, I've redone this a couple of times too. It's that one dot here, and I also redid the fin, the spoiler. So a few repaints, huh? Okay, so change of background and lighting and everything. This is just a quick update. You can't really see actually the shine because it's very dark in this room at the moment, so I'm not getting the real look. But this is the car, the kit, half. Well, it's all painted, but just half put together. Put the lights inside, and it's a shoddy mess. They work, but they're just not that great. It's a mess, and I want the pop-up headlights to work properly, and fitting those in there as well is going to be a bit of a mission. So instead I got this for £1 from a Chinese website, AliExpress, I just say it. And it doesn't bloody work. So I've got these batteries, and I bought a load of these tiny LEDs, which I know do work because I've tested them. I'm going to do this with one hand. That's the light. Maybe I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand. There we go. So these tiny little lights, I'll be able to put those all over the place with no issue. And I got those for I don't know, maybe €4-5, and I've got quite a few, 10 I think. So I'll easily be able to do the lights at the front, the pop-up headlights, and the rest. I'll put the camera down and show you what it looks like with the lights at the moment. I mean, technically I could just leave it as it is and add the tiny lights just for the headlights because there's space, but There's also the mess inside. Let's click that off. I was going to use this board here as the on-off switch for them, and the soldering keeps coming off because it's a very cheap board that I found in something in those Christmas lights. So it's just not ideal. It's a mess. They're weak. These were just like sort of pull off very easy. Look, there we go. So I'm not going to bother with this board. I don't need to. If I can fix this, so I'll open it. Not much to fix really. It's just on off and some wires. So I'll sort this out and then start putting it back together, all nice and neat, without all the excess. Get rid of all that rubbish inside, and come back with a nice bright video so you can see the shiny car, shiny. Right, okay, so it's night time, so I'm whispering. Now I'm only joking, it isn't night time, but it's poor light. Again, I'm just filming this just because I want to get this finished. So yeah, poor quality, sorry about that. Right, but you can see these googly eyes. I've decided I'm gonna leave the junk inside. I'm just gonna maybe get rid of this wire, make it a thin one. Okay. So here are the lights when they're closed. Don't let too much out, it's not so bad. I might need to block the sides. I'm just gonna pause it because I need my hands on the battery, my fingers, and open them up. And ta-da! They're brighter on camera because the lens flare, because my camera needs a bit of a wipe. So they're brighter on camera than they actually are. They are bright, but you can see the lines of the... there you go, you just get a hint of it when it went dark. You can see the CD cover lines, sort of that make it look like a proper light, but you can't see it at the moment. No, if I turn down the... nope. There we go. See it, see it, see it. Okay, so that, and then it's gone auto. Alright, so I'm going to put most of it back together and find some thin wire and leave the wire hanging out. Maybe fill in the sides of these lights, not sure, but yeah. Same thing again, where this is a lot brighter on camera, then that's what it looks like. So there's like a white line around the red lights, and then here are all the lights at the front. So I'm going to put it together. Sorry, again I'm going to put some thinner wire so it all connects together better. Just leave some wire dangling out the bottom so I can put it together and find a way to connect the battery and a switch. It's got wires hanging out still because I'm figuring out how to put the switch in, because that AliExpress switch was broken. I mean, this still doesn't do it justice. It's really high gloss. Okay, and a makeshift light. I've just got this, so I click it together. I said I click it together. What? Oh my god, I didn't put the battery in. Okay, so you've got those lights at the front, the fog lights, and then you've got these as well at the back. Ignore the back bumper. I've sanded this down because I got a print in it, so I'm going to redo that. It just pulls off. Okay, so there's the back. Oh, I need to put the license plate back on. There's the back. From the side, you can see how shiny the hubcappy things are, hubcaps, and that's the front. So yeah, still not finished completely, but just to give you a look of what it looks like with the high glass, it's really nice, better in person. I did manage to sort out the bump out, although you can see in those lines they're not clean, but considering that I had to remove all the paint, it wasn't a bad job. And that's that. So finishing touches, I'll put a switch in and then we're all done.
2000s microprocessor, K.I.T.T for easy reference.
Oh yes, so much better.
Voice of Knight Industry 2000s microprocessor, K.I.T.T for easy reference. K.I.T.T if you prefer. Michael, that was no accident.
I know.
Michael, what'd you like to while you're gone?
But yeah, looking sweet. Worth it now that it's all together. Oops. Alright, so for real,